Hello, fans. All right, so tonight I wanted to actually do something real, just kind of a one-off. I guess you could call this just a one-off with Kiefer, I suppose. And this one I actually wanted to see. It's a really fun game that I actually encountered and I've been wanting to get for a while. And it is called Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. It is a fantastic game, guys. This is a, don't correct me if I'm wrong here, guys. I think a third edition or a second edition of this game. I bet it's a third one. The reason why I say it's a third because the second one is a very old game that was made by Yatari, I think it was. Yeah, Yatari. It's a French company, and it actually is out of print. They just don't make it anymore, and or at least as far as I can see, it's impossible to find. And so if you find it on eBay, you'll see it being sold for like $104 to $120 just to get the game itself, and that's usually after it's been opened. It's a very difficult one to get. This one, though, however, is brand new, as Modi Games has gotten hold of it and gotten the rights, which is great, and they really lived up to it. They have a full new 10 cases, and as you guys can see here, the main campaign, 1 to 4 campaign, is Jack the Ripper. Now tonight I actually wanted to just do one case with you guys. Maybe we'll see how well it plays out. I'm not really sure how it will, but let's get right to the table here, guys, and I'll explain the game as best I can for you guys in the best terms that this game can, of course, display for us. So this is how it looks here, folks. This is the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective game. Now, guys, without any further ado, I would absolutely say you're going to need a pen and paper here in hand and ready for some notations, because this game is a case-solving or mystery game, okay? Think of it like, I guess you could say, it's a Sherlock Holmes book, right? Think of a Sherlock Holmes novel or Sherlock on BBC or anything you like to say. And then on top of that, think of Clue or something like that, but it's an adult version of it, where, as you guys can see, you have a simplified view of London. So this is a pretty cool way of having it set up. You have all of London here, and you have these little coordinates, as you guys can see here. It's like northwest, west center, east center, southeast, and then southwest. You have these quadrants that breaks up the city, and then you have a little city, like little numbers like 83. You have over all the way up to 100, I believe, is what it goes to, or something up there. It goes really high up there. And each of these little individual areas can represent, per each case, a specific location or individual. Now remember, of course, we always have the same areas like Scotland Yard, right? New Scotland Yard's over here. You're going to have all the major places like, for instance, the Milbourne Prison or the Cosmopolitan Hotel. You're always going to have 221B Baker right here on Baker Street. You can see right there in the northwest quadrant here. And beautifully set up here, guys, is the colors. And those red buildings you guys are looking at there are the ones that will always stay. Now the yellow ones are other buildings that the game will either have set up, so like the cases will have set up to particular people or individuals or groups. And so in this scenario, we're actually going to open it up, and I'll actually show you guys what it is. So you have the rule book here, and I will just read here for you guys. I know you guys don't really like too much the reading, but this is a great introduction here. So it says, "Welcome to the streets of London in the Victorian era. The fog is spreading, crime runs rampant, and you, one of the Baker Street irregulars, are here to lead the investigation." In a study in scarlet, Watson introduces the Baker Street Secret Police section to us for the first time. This group of half a dozen of the dirtiest and most ragged street urchins that I ever clapped eyes on, under the leadership of Wiggins, was a most precious help to Sherlock Holmes, to whom they were the eyes and ears in the streets of London. As early as 1888, in the Sign of Four, Wiggins had become a young man, and his group of Baker Street irregulars had doubled. "They go everywhere, see everything, and hear all that is said," declared Holmes. Wiggins had become a vital collaborator to the world's greatest consulting detective. Holmes' career in Baker Street lasted some 22 years. The number of cases he had to solve grew at the same speed as his reputation. After Watson's first marriage in November 1886, Holmes relied increasingly on the help of the Baker Street irregulars. During the years in which Holmes was absent, from 1892 to 1894, it was Wiggins who was then attempting to become an actor who kept Mycroft Holmes informed of the criminal underworld's activities in London. Mycroft who had frequent contact with his brother, would pass this information on to Holmes, or Sherlock, of course. Wiggins continued to collaborate with Holmes throughout the 1890s, and during the first few years of the following century. His talents as an actor, which he had learned mostly from Holmes, helped him move easily through the various layers of London society. Upon Wiggins' death in 1939, his journal, which spoke of many cases on which he had worked with Holmes, was found. You'll find in this book excerpts from that journal, and that is precisely what we're doing. We take on the roles of the unofficial gang of the Baker Street Irregulars, of course founded by Sherlock Holmes. So, we have in this book 10 mysterious cases, which will be up to us to solve. Now, 4 of these, of course, are part of that Jack the Ripper campaign, but the other 6 cases are unconnected, and so they actually have a really great series that we can kind of play, and of course the map to London. We will then, of course, through our time here, you need to utilize some people, London directory. We're going to have to talk to leads. We're going to have to reach out to people, just like I had mentioned in the intro, that we were the ones that were the eyes and ears of the city for Holmes. And so we actually go out and talk to individuals in the city of London. Look at that. That's all the cities, international, basically all the people, and then the categories of them. It's fantastic, guys. I love this. This is so great. It makes you legitimately feel like you're in London and absolutely a part of the times. What makes you even more feeling like you are in London is the fact that this game also comes complete with newspapers of the fictitious day, right? These aren't real day newspapers, but when you play a certain campaign, or I guess you'd say case, you'll take the newspapers from that day and anything previous, so anything before, so nothing after, of course, right? It wouldn't make any sense why you'd have cases or newspapers from days that haven't happened. And in these newspapers are beautifully articulated articles, right? They have great stories in here. Also, these stories can lead to connections between the cases. So for instance, in one of these it says, a body found in the Thames. We don't really know what's going on here, but we do know that that this could be something that's big for us. But then again, at the same time, West Ham, the Stratford Musical Festival, has nothing to do with our case that we're studying at that time. But in a different case, that may absolutely have something to do with it. They fill in perfect amounts of little secrets, little twists, little plot holes here, or plot points there that help out. And so you get these little things that really create the intricacies in between these cases that we're going to have to utilize to solve these cases. Now, the object of the game is to solve these cases faster than Sherlock Holmes, right? That's the whole point. Sherlock Holmes already has solved these cases. We're going back to see if we can do that faster than he is. So he has gone through and used so many leads or so many contacts or people that he needed to talk to find his answer. Now we're going to go through, and I'm going to do terrible, guys, because I'm not very good at this game, but I thoroughly want to make sure I get the solution and the answers, because if at the end of the game you actually have to answer certain questions, right? Kind of like a quiz. Kind of, you have to answer what's happening, what was the solution to the enigma or problem, and then you go from there to getting the solution that Sherlock Holmes, Sir Sherlock Holmes, got, right? The great detective. So of course he's a master detective. So if we beat him, his score is 100, then we did fantastic. But if we don't feel so bad. My first time around with some friends, we only scored a 30 out of 100. But there are people that go like negative 85 because they talk to everybody. They just go to every town, little place, and they talk to everybody. And so with that, guys, let's get right into it here, folks. I want to thank you guys for this introduction video here, and I will upload a real quick video right afterwards of our first story. So let's get right to it here, guys. I'll see you guys next time in the actual video.